Hello! Perfidious Pete here, back to creep around an empty house and try to figure out exactly where the bodies are buried in what remains of Edith Finch. So yeah, smart money's on Barbara's room, I guess, because that's where I hid the bodies. Everything else, though, in this entire house, why is it that every room in this place is locked, sealed, bolted, and epoxied shut? Look at this, man. Somebody went to a lot of effort to do all this. And it begs the question, why? Did Grandpa Odin foolishly build this house on an ancient Indian burial ground and wind up getting the entire clan cursed to die young? Because I gotta say, if that's the thing, that curse is working out. A lot of people croaking real young here in the Finch family. 10 years old, 16 years old, 11 years old. Gus was, not even 20. Gregory barely made it to 1. Milton, 11. This is real sad. Everybody dying real young. It's got to be the ancient Indian curse. Okay, maybe it's not an ancient Indian curse, actually it's kind of on PC to say. An ancient Native American curse, I guess, would be the more appropriate way to say that. But it would go a long way toward explaining the weird Hogwarts sort of architecture that's going on here in the Finch estate. Sure, this house is big. It's really big. But when you're voted most likely to become a serial killer great aunt runs around cask of Amontillado-ing every single room shut after a family member dies, eventually, you're going to wind up having to violate a few building codes and stack a couple extra stories onto the roof where they don't belong, just because there's nowhere else to put them, man. You just need the space. Also, you know what? Given the look of this cheap polyurethane foam spray epoxy that's splattered all over these doors, I'm wondering if the untimely deaths of the entire clan aren't actually more like a self-fulfilling prophecy thing. They all died of glue poisoning because Aunt Edith took it a little bit too far. Maybe. Anyway, let's get back to exploring. We did peep in Barbara's room. Was this Barbara's room? No, this is where the bodies are buried. This is the library. They told us that every Finch who ever lived is buried in this library. Does that just mean like a book of their deeds? Is somebody being metaphorical? Is there like a diary of their life or a biography of every Finch is carried in the library? Is it something very not nefarious and tries to sound overwhelming when in fact it's really kind of dull and boring? Read the autobiography, the biography of like an average Joe who didn't really accomplish much with their whole life. That's some put you to sleep right away reading. Read Perfidious Pete's biography. That shit is gonna be duller than a beige room. Oh, hey. Who the shit is this? I don't know what Finch this is, but I have to say, he has the most magnificent fucking sideburns. That is a man who put the mutton in mutton chop right there. He may actually have sheared a sheep and just glued wool straight to the side of his face. He was that into the mutton chop sideburn. I'm digging it. Okay, well, let's see what this... My Friend Bigfoot, starring Barbara Finch, and starring Bill Bunton as Bigfoot. Little known fact, Bill Bunton and Jerry Mathers were in hot contention for the role as Bigfoot, but Bill Bunton ultimately won. Much to his chagrin, because he wound up making this shitty Bigfoot movie instead of getting cast as the Beaver on Leave It to Beaver. It could have been, and Bill Bunton as the Beaver.
Whenever people ask me
just
about
because,
my
it would have been more alliterative.
The first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Really? Really? A one-hit wonder actress who was in one movie in the 60s and died at the age of, I think, 16? Yeah. That's the one thing they want to know about. By the way, she died in 1960, so, like 50 years ago. And really, they all want to know all about Barbara, huh? All right, well, let's peek in Barbara's room again. So, there's really not much to see here other than the fact that Barbara was really enamored of the Hollywood lifestyle and also had a simulacrum of herself being tenderly ministered to by That's coming close to some weird interspecies erotica stuff there, Barbara. Bigfoot is very delicately gripping your hand. I think maybe Bigfoot was a predator, and I'm not talking about like a natural predator. I'm talking about like a Chris Hansen style To Catch a Predator. I don't feel good about this room anymore. I'm gonna go. I gotta check. Okay, I gotta know who this man is. Who's the mutton chop sideburns?
The original house.
So this is Odin Finch. Would it be too big of a... Okay, he's mixing we're mixing our metaphors here. Rather, we're mixing our mythologies. We're mixing our pantheons. Odin is not supposed to have finches. Odin is supposed to have two ravens named Hungir and Mungir. Thought and memory. Is that why he died? Because the ravens were upset that he betrayed them and tossed them over for some less cool bird? They're like, you're going from the sweet-ass, dope-ass raven that Edgar Allan Poe wrote a sweet poem about, and instead you go with finches? Whoever wrote a poem about a finch? You get like Wordsworth, Keats? Pathetic losers. More Orange Tabby Zinfandel. Angelati Vineyard, 2012 Pinot Noir. Come to Angelati's Vineyard. We will give you some Pinot Noir and you can have it with the spaghetti. Because we are the most stereotypical vineyard you will ever visit. Yeah, come on down. Montobele. Montobene? I don't know. My Italian is bad. 51 Tales. A Dreamer's Tales. Swan's Way. Ovid's Metamorphosis. Library of Babel. Would that be really hard to read? I think the Library of Babel would be really... We've seen most of these books before. How come the Finches own so many copies of the same books? It's like they one of those decorative people who buys leather-bound books but doesn't really give a shit what the books are. They just like the look of them, so they arrange them on the shelves. Not like alphabetically or in any sort of actual order. They just do them by color and shade so that they look the nicest. I can't support this. Don't do that. Don't buy books you're not going to read. Don't buy books. Books are not decoration. Ooh, hello, there's an open door in here. Books are not decoration. Is this Edith's room? How come this room didn't get sealed up? Also, the taxidermy bugs everywhere. Is this really what you want to say about the Finch family? The first thing when you walk in the house, you want somebody to see a bunch of taxidermy beetles taped to the wall? That sends a bad message. Whoa, holy shit, it's Thomas Alva Edison. What's up, Edison, you rapacious scumbag? Pete, are you firing shots at Thomas Edison? Yeah, he was a piece of shit. Thomas Edison didn't invent crap. He stole most of his stuff. Thomas Alva Edison, businessman thief. Thomas Alva Edison, monopoly holder. Thomas Alva Edison didn't invent anything other than intellectual thievery. Molly, 37 to 40. See, Molly died at 10 years old, man. She has a lot of mice and unicorns on her. Wait, is that mouse or a unicorn? Or is it a mouse? It's a mouse in a party hat, Pete. Why is this mouse wearing like a Shakespearean ruff collar? Are these mice performing a play? So this is then like Mercutio, Romeo, and Juliet? Is this a scene from like the mouse version of Romeo and Juliet? All three of those mice are gonna die in that case. All right, let's peek in Molly's room.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
All right. I mean, I don't know. I guess making every room in your house some kind of shrine to the fallen would encourage potentially subsequent generations to sort of fantasize about what the person who lived in that shrine was like. Also, was it really necessary to wall the mice up in the room? Apparently, Molly kept mice as pets, but I have to assume that one of those mice was in this room when you Cask of Amontillato'd it up, and they sent some poor innocent mouse to die. Also, those party hats on the floor are way too big for mice. They're like they're not gonna fit their heads. Their heads are really tiny, and those are normal sized party hats. Molly, were you starting some kind of campaign to get like Chad Everett and make giant sized mice? Were you getting all Night of the Lepus on us? More taxidermy beetles. Well, this room is open, so we should probably like check this out.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
So she sealed up most rooms, but not every room. And Great Uncle Walter apparently was the one exception to the rule. Okay, this carpet is real weird, although I have to say this twig design looks vaguely familiar. I guess not. I thought it was exactly the one on our thing, but it's definitely not. It's just very similar. So Great Uncle Walter was apparently a fisherman, and this is a shot. Oh, this must be the house that sank. So it sank literally into the ocean then. How the hell do you sink a house? What, were they doing like a sort of an up thing except on water and then something catastrophically failed and there was a tragedy and all the finches drowned? A lot of whale sharks on the wall. The whale shark, that's an odd fish to idolize. Oh, here we go. What's this book? 20,000 Leagues
Louis
Under the
told me
Sea.
there
All
were
right, that's
secret
pretty good one.
passages, but I never believed him.
So I guess our key probably opens one. Oh, there we go. Secret passages. We can go to
Turns
the
out,
other rooms,
My
I
mom
bet.
was really good at keeping secrets.
Actually, she wasn't good at all. The key that she had, like, led us straight here. Oh, well, hello.
Now it was time to find out what my mom
Nope.
had been afraid of.
No, it wasn't. It was time to shut the door. Put that back down. Edith, shut this. You know what? Well, I think we'll come back to this. I want to go peep in the other rooms first. I feel like maybe we weren't supposed to find a secret passage until we had looked in all the other rooms. The ones that are sealed up. Because inevitably, those secret passages, man, they got to go somewhere. And where more secret than into all of these other sealed off rooms, right? What do we got going on here? This is a bird, but also a baseball player. Whose room is this? Sven, Hofstad Finch, and Edie Finch. All right, Sven, Edie outlived him by a really, really long time, but Sven had a respectable run. I mean, he was 39 when he died. That's, I wouldn't say tragically young. It's unfortunately young, but probably a couple years shy of tragic. What do we got here? Calvin and Sam? Were these brothers, Calvin and Sam? Calvin and Sam were brothers. Actually, possibly twins, because they were born in the same year. It's just one of them died at the age of 11 and the other one ran out to 33. So I'm guessing that's going to be Sam on the right and Calvin with the astronauts. Would Calvin really have been into, 1950? Yeah, I suppose he could have been into astronauts. Didn't live long enough to see the moon landing, but yeah, he could still have been into it. The Spirit Among Us, Swedish folk tales. The King in Yellow! The King in Yellow! Is that a copy of the wait a minute. Is that a copy of the Necronomicon on top of the that's a copy of the Necronomicon on top of the King in Yellow. Don't be summoning Hastur. I guess now we know what happened. Somebody said Hastur's name 3 times and he just appeared, and somebody else out there's like, Pete, you just said it twice, man. You got to be careful. Don't worry, I know the rule. My question about the whole don't say the King in Yellow's name 3 times is, like, what's the secession on that? How close together do the 3 name incitings have to be? If I can only recite his name 3 times, I mean, I just said it twice. The 3rd time I say it, is this like a lifetime ban? Like I can never say it again ever? Or what's the moratorium on the saying of the name? Is it like an hour? Can an hour from now I just go 2 times again and stop? Where do I draw the line? You got to give me more clear and concise rules,
My
guys.
Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Yeah, see, that is borderline abusive, actually. Making him sleep in the room where his dead brother was after it's all preserved as a shrine to his 11-year-old spacefaring ass. That's really, really... You know what? It's not borderline abuse. It's definitively abuse. That's... Somebody should have called Child Protective Services on this guy and been like, hey, they got his brother's, like, the other half of his room as a shrine to his dead brother. That's gonna fuck them all up, right? Wait a minute. Why did they seal the room and why is only Calvin's nameplate on it? Calvin's got 1950 to 1961, but they said Sam shared that room with him for 7 years. How come Sam doesn't get a plate? What's the... Man, shit all over. Sam, you got a raw deal, dog. They made you sleep in your dead brother's room for most of a decade, and then when your time came and you were called into the great beyond, you didn't even get a plaque on a thing. They're just like, fuck it, just paint a thing on a door, it'll be fine. I'm guessing Sam must have died in the war. Wait a minute. What are Sam's years? What war would he have died in? He died in 1983. So I'm guessing if he lived to be 33 and was born in the 50s, he probably served in Vietnam, would have been my guess. Yeah, because the Korean War would have been over. So he probably served in Nam. I guess, you know what? That kind of tells you the tale of Sam's life right there. A guy who was so eager to get out of the shrine to his dead brother that he just like, fuck it, I'm going to enlist in the army and go shoot the VC for a little while. Sure, I'm going to be in the bush country, and yeah, I'm probably going to die. I'm basically signing up for the lottery of death, but you know what? It's better than sleeping another night next to the command center. All right, Gregory, let's see what your whole deal is. Your door is remarkably plain, Greg. Oh, well, because you never even had time to, like, develop an affinity for anything. You didn't even have wants or likes. Mostly you just, like, cried for milk and shit yourself. This is going to be a boring room. I'm guessing it's just an empty crib.
I assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Never mind, they made this kid live in a bathroom. I don't get it. Why is the kid who died as an infant, why is his room a sealed up bathroom? I mean, did he die in the tub? Is that what we're getting at? There's a lot of prescription bottles on the counter there, too. Like, way more prescriptions than even the sickest of infants could possibly warrant. There's an untold tale here. Why is there a picture of Mount Rainier National Park on the wall? And what's with the frilly shag carpeting, man? I mean, I know the kid was born in 1976, but man, even in the 70s, as late as 76, people would have been like, you know, the 6-inch shag carpet that's hot pink. Maybe we should and especially in a bathroom, man. I have objections to anybody who has carpet in their bathroom because you're basically just wandering over a giant, like, furry pile of piss and shit. You want tile in the bathroom. You really do. It's much easier to get clean. You pee on the floor a little bit because, you know, you got a little stray shot. That stuff's going to soak into this shag, especially this shag because it's 9.5 feet thick. But that pee is going to soak into the shag, and then it's basically there forever. Just terrible. I don't want urine-soaked shag carpeting. All right, Sven, Edie, let's see what you guys got going on. So one of you must have been a construction worker, and from the looks of things, the other one was a 1920s flapper girl. It would have been hard for you to be a 20s flapper, because you'd have been, like, at best, what, 13? 13-year-old flapper seems like you're pushing it maybe a little bit.
The last time I was in Edith Senior's room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Is that Edith Senior, or is that weird picture of Thomas Edison again? Still the weird picture of Thomas Edison. So I'm guessing that thing on the distance there on the easel is actually a portrait of us, Edie, or Edith Finch. I don't guess it's going to survive to make it on the wall unless we bust in there, steal it, and hang it ourselves. Maybe that's what we could ask the King in Yellow for when we get around to talking to the King in Yellow. Got the copy of the Necronomicon. I think I can bind him to my will, right? Sure, I'll summon the King in Yellow. I can bring forth he who shall not be named, but after I do so, probably bind him, right? What does this cord go to? Plugs in here. I'm curious about the electrical cord, but
Mom
okay,
must have locked
this.
the 3rd floor stairs on the night we left.
Okay. So, railroad plot gonna railroad. I really can't go much of anywhere the plot doesn't want me to go, so it's back to the old secret room, I reckon. Let's do this. Ah, yeah, you love it when
From the
Pete
paintings
crawls
on
in
the
your
walls,
tight
I
hole,
hear my
don't
brother
you?
Milton had been here before me.
Okay, let's check out Milton's art skills. Not the best. That's either an owl or a very badly drawn kitty cat. Possibly it's one of the horrible little homunculi that runs around with Hello Kitty. Although it very clearly has a mouth, so I guess it can't hang out with Hello Kitty, because Hello Kitty creatures don't have mouths. Another drawing, a little bit of a tea set, some crayons.
Reading this,
I love the
maybe
stained
it
glass.
sounds like I had a plan.
Wait, what? Oh, are you talking? I guess okay, we're supposed to be right. We're sitting on a thing reading Edith's diary. So sometimes Edith is also narrating her adventure. What's this cup? Is it just a cup? It's just a cup. How come I can see the handle from the inside of it? I'm calling bullshit on your modeling there. So then we can open this and go into...
What was behind that door.
I'm guessing it's just the room that was all locked up. Yeah, so we can just go in here now.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Call me crazy, Edie, but I'm guessing it probably leads to your destruction, doom, and or death. I mean, I don't want to shit on your parade or anything.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
Okay, so can we look back out the people? Nope.
Being
They're
inside
only
for
going
the
one.
first
Aw,
time,
man.
I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Really? All right, Edith. Now it's time for me to question your chops a little bit here. You grew up in this house, right? A curious kid and whatnot, and yet you never, in your entire life, figured out a way to get through this secret passage. It wasn't even a well-guarded secret, man. It had one padlock on it. At some point in your life, you would have gotten the key to that padlock. You'd have stole it from your mom, and you'd have been all up in this shit, exploring like a curious kid will. Nobody's going to keep some corner of your own house completely off limits to a curious child. It just doesn't happen.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Okay. Also, Molly's gerbil died a horrible, horrible death because Mom locked it in his room to die, Cask of Amontillado style, and all that left is remained of it is it's like a little tube of shredded toilet paper roll, some droppings, and I'm assuming somewhere hidden under that pile of sawdust, a rotting gerbil skeleton. Let's see what kind of books Molly was into. Bedbug, 9 Lives, Call of the Wild. All right, you know, she's got a little Jack London over there. That's all right. Beast of Nature, Monsters of the Deep, Magical Realist Fiction, Georges Louis Borges, Tales from Beyond, copy of the Jungle Book. Well, you should throw that away. Rudyard Kipling really needs help. The Princess and the Goblin, The Magical Mountain, A Short Walk in the... What is that? Can't quite make it out. All right, so Edith was really into like, or not Edith, rather, I guess this is Molly's room, was really into like castles and journals. Everybody loves Mount Rainier National Park. You know, the Finch family almost has me sold. I'm thinking maybe I should take a journey and go visit Mount Rainier National Park, which is weird because I could have had the opportunity to go to Mount Rainier National Park. I was in Seattle about a week ago. I didn't. I just, you know, stayed around, went and had a few drinks with some people, whatnot. Mostly just stayed at my hotel. Okay, got a whistle? What's in the closet? Oh, that's the way we came in, right? Weird owl mask. A door that won't open. So how do we get out of here then? Because this door is closed. This door is locked from the inside and also sealed with epoxy. And that door apparently doesn't open. So what's the deal, yo? Oh, Molly was murdering a starfish! That's dark, yo. And also, she was the one who was taxidermying the bugs and the taxidermy, bugs, beetles, and the clearly dissected and stuffed frog kind of gives Molly a sinister aspect. Also, the dead Christmas tree, more than a little fucking weird. I'm starting to think this Molly girl may have had some issues. Everything's all happy, fanciful gerbils with party hats and whatnot. And then over here, we have the death corner, where everything comes to die and everything is dark and broken forever. Got like an emo side going. All right, let's figure out what Molly's shit is all about here. So are we gonna, if I open this book, am I gonna become Molly?
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started
Weird.
when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and
Oh,
I was
shit.
starving.
Okay,
So I
so this
looked
is
around
layers
for
upon
something to
layers.
eat.
All right, then. So now we're going to explore how the house was. And this is actually a very cool mechanic. It's layers upon layers upon layers. We can find out what's up with the corner of death over there and why we're dissecting a starfish and putting him next to his dead frog friend. So we're going to get to see a little bit inside the life of Molly. But you know what? I think we're going to have to do that next episode. If you enjoyed this one, feel free to drop a like down in the comment section. Of course, your support does really mean a lot to us. And if you want to watch Molly get medieval on some helpless critter that is incapable of defending itself, might consider subscribing as well. Post new episodes of What Remains of Edith Finch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Right now, thanks very much for watching. I'm going to revel in my first kill. I'll see you again soon.